recycling department. Can everyone hear okay? If you can't hear, definitely I'll put on. Sorry, you definitely heard that interference. But so I work within the waste department of the City of Whittlesea. But part of the waste portfolio includes stormwater, other waste waters, recycled water, and even it's stretching down to potable water. So gradually the stormwater portfolio is being transformed into all waters, and that's reflected. Currently we've got a stormwater management plan, but next year and the year after we're going to probably publish an integrated water management plan. So the perspective is definitely going just from stormwater into all sorts of waters, and that's recognition of some of the troubles and issues which we had during the last drought, the Millennium Drought, where sports fields particularly were affected within the municipality, and also open areas or open parks, or open spaces technically. So during the Millennium Drought we had lots of problems with irrigating sports fields. At one point we could irrigate no sports fields. We invested in stormwater harvesting, which was one option, and then gradually during the drought we were able to, I think only 1 in 4 sports fields was irrigated. But today I'm going to be showing you, this is the Mernda estate. It was established roughly in 2006, so it's approximately 10 to 12 years old. We've got some wetlands over here which we're going to have a look at, but first we're going to have a look at some rain gardens. The catchment is approximately 600 hectares. So we have the wetlands, which the wetlands are about 1.5 hectares in size, and they service 600 hectares of catchment. But the first thing we'll have a look at, sneak peek, will be the rain garden. So we'll just go for a quick walk.
No dogs. I saw one kid.
There's one dog.
Where?
Actually, I might show you this just really quickly. Sorry. These are, we've had some rain today, so the other day it wasn't quite wet, but this is some of the outputs from the rain gardens. The rain gardens are over here, and the water quality here is actually really quite good. The water will move down that way. The Plenty River runs parallel to Plenty Road here, approximately 1 kilometre further that way, and that's obviously the outfall. So this is only a small outfall. The bigger outfall is obviously where the wetlands are. Sorry. No. Turn this off a bit.
甚至你走好快，注意看，我走这么快，我们是迟到了。
这老哥走这么快，妈呀！
因为他想下班，我们也要跟着这样走吗？有。
Testing, right. So this is one example of a rain garden. There's 40 rain gardens very similar to this in this particular catchment here. This catchment is around about 11 hectares. 11 hectares with 40 rain gardens. Each rain garden costs between $10,000 and $15,000 to build, and the average cost or maintenance cost per year is around about between $1,000 and $2,000 per hectare of. So if we look at it per hectare of treated area per annum, it's around about $2,000. That's the cost. So you'll have to do the math on each individual rain garden. By comparison, if we look at the wetlands over there, the annual cost per treatable area of hectare is only about $100. So it's $100 to treat each hectare per annum versus $1,000 to $2,000 for rain gardens. The reason why rain gardens are chosen is because this particular catchment couldn't be routed through the wetlands. In an ideal world we would have done that. We would have routed this particular catchment through the wetlands, so we only needed one treatment area. But in this case we couldn't, so we had to invest in rain gardens. They also, one of the initial problems we had with these rain gardens, they all had to be reset. when they were first put in there, they weren't protected. So when there was development, we ended up with a lot of silt coming into the rain gardens and blinding the surface layer, so it all had to be dredged up, new plants, etc. Now the way these rain gardens work is most rainfall events are quite small. You probably experience today, just small spatterings of rain. The rain will come in. This bed here is around about 50 centimetres in depth. It's a sandy loam type material. It's quite, it allows for the infiltration of water to pool. Water can pool in here up to about 20 centimetres if it has to, but then it'll just slowly filter down. The normal maintenance regime is to remove leaves, other litter material which collects in here. So when rains come, most of the waters will first come into here and seep through. If it's a particularly heavy downpour, then this will fill up very quickly and the water will be diverted and go into one of the side entry pits, which you can see there. And obviously there's no treatment. But this acts a little bit like a first flush. When the rains first come, water will come in, mostly rubbish from the street, and also contaminants will collect here. In the longer term, there'll be a build-up of contaminants, not so much the leaves and organic material, because that breaks down quite rapidly, but heavy metals particularly will build up here. And perhaps oils to a certain degree, but more heavy metals. So what typically happens to the regime with Melbourne Water, or in this case, we have to manage this because the catchment is so small. So this is only local government jurisdiction now. We'll probably in 10, 15 years time, or let's say another probably 10 years, we may have to dig up this material. The heavy metals are likely to be high, so we'll have to dispose of this in an appropriate way. So it'll be regarded as toxic waste. It will have a certain level of toxicity. The heavy metals mainly come from brake pads and from car tyres. So I look at industrial pollution, both industrial estates and also in urban areas or residential areas, and cars are the biggest culprit. As in addition to that, if people use fertilisers, pesticides, that runoff also comes into here as well, but it won't necessarily stay, it'll just wash through eventually. The idea is that the bacteria and also the root systems and the plants living in these in and on these rain gardens are very good at capturing sediments and other fine materials and just locking it in. Also nitrogen, which is a common pollutant which we have again as an urban runoff, is quite readily treated through these rain gardens as well. So it's very effective. If we compare the quality of the water leaving a rain garden compared to the quality of the water leaving a wetland, it's 10 times cleaner leaving a rain garden. But having said that, the cost, the overall maintenance cost and establishment costs of rain gardens are probably a little bit too expensive. In all these new estates, we typically, in the recent past, a lot of rain gardens were established. I forgot the count of how many we have in the municipality, but it's in the hundreds. Actually, it's an excessive amount, because when we did the costing, so Melbourne Water give us indications of how much it costs, the maintenance costs for rain garden versus wetlands. We've got an excessively high maintenance budget. So our maintenance budget at the moment is probably about $500,000, but with all the water-sensitive urban design treatments, such as including rain gardens, which we have in the municipality, we probably need a budget closer to $2 million. And that's not reflected. I don't think we're going to get that money. So long term, we just got to wait and see what will happen to all these rain gardens. Does anyone have any questions in relation to rain gardens per se? I'm happy to qualify anything. Our preference is we'd rather have fewer rain gardens and only rain gardens